Wonderful. The weather is great out there, right?
Oh, it's beautiful. A little chilly, but beautiful.
Yeah, I think we're not really used to it, but we're jumping on in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today on Topic Tuesday, we have a entrepreneur who's been in the business for a very long time. So we are going to be learning tons today, which is great because I think it's good to have so much more experience than, the rest of us. So let me introduce her.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria Urbina and I own Botticelli. It's a boutique on the west side of El Paso.
Awesome. And how long have you been in business?
So we've been in business for about 6 years now. We started in a very, very small shop. I don't know if you're familiar with the Mix, which was in downtown El Paso. So we did that for about 2 years. And then we moved into Century Plaza, which we literally stayed there for about 4 years. And then recently moved to the shops on Mesa.
Awesome. And what journey, if you can take us through a brief journey on how you got started and why did you guys go up to where you moved to?
Okay, so it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it as short as possible. So basically, the store is a collaboration between my sisters and myself.
Awesome.
And so I started, just because I wanted to have a business. And so the real fashionista in the family is my sister Martha. And so, we just decided that we wanted to have a boutique. And so one day I just said, you know what, let's do it. I researched everything in terms of opening up a store, and I went to market, I brought some goods, and then we just opened. And how do we actually transition, and why did we transition? I think it's kind of the big story. So like I said, we opened up at the Mix, and it was a very small operation. We really didn't know if I could give you any advice in terms of your market. It's very important to understand who your market is and who you're trying to, bring merchandise for. And so for us, unfortunately, we didn't really know, and so we were kind of experimenting. And so I think that the Mix, because the space was so small, it allowed us that flexibility, and so we were able to kind of recognize who we were going to be selling to. And so when our contract basically expired, we said, all right, let's move on to a bigger place. I think we know what we want to do,
Right.
And that's what made us move to Century Plaza.
Awesome. And what hiccups did you do the first 2 years, and what were they, and what are you doing now differently?
So I think the first, like for example, I don't want to say it was a mistake, but I think one thing that we learned from just starting out was that location is key. And even though the Mix at that point in Union Plaza was very, very up and coming, the ballpark and everything, we realized really early on that for retail, you really do need to have a fluctuation of people, and you need to have a lot of people coming in and out. And so, unfortunately, we didn't have that there. Parking was an issue as well. And so I think the biggest hiccup at the beginning had to do with where we had put ourselves and the location. And so I think that was one of the things that really was hard. But when we actually moved on to the west side, it just basically changed. It really did change because of that.
And what as far as like the goods and the stuff, you changed all that. What about like paperwork? What about the employees that you started off with? Are you with those employees now?
No, we unfortunately are not. I mean, retail I don't know if it's the same in your business, but retail is very cyclical. And so we get a lot of people that are coming out of college or in college, and so once they graduate, they typically move on to their careers and all that. So no, we don't have the same staff now. We do have obviously the same people that have been involved with from the get-go. So if you go to the store, you'll see my mom, you'll see me or some other one of our family members. In terms of the paperwork, I pretty much deal with all the paperwork.
Cool.
I have so Botticelli is a labor of love for us, but it's kind of a hobby in some ways for us because I actually have a daytime job.
Oh, what do you do?
I do finance. And so that's one of the reasons. So the paperwork, the finance, and all that, I take care of that. And so yeah, that's basically just in a nutshell.
And who does all the going to market, picking out the clothes?
So that's a great question. So it's a combination between my sisters and I. So we all have very different taste, and that's really cool, and that's what I like, because we, just to give you some story and background, when we first opened up the store, I mean, obviously, we went to market that very first time, and I don't know if you've ever been to market, but it's literally like shopping on steroids, okay? Because it's like you go to the mall and you go in and you see these styles, right? Well, you see thousands, hundreds of styles for each vendor, right? And so, of course, my sisters and I go for the first time, and it's like so overwhelming. And of course, with big personalities, we got into a few fights at the beginning, trying to decide what we were going to bring. But I think, after a couple of tries, we just figured out what really worked for us. And so, every time that there's a market, the three of us go out. I'll tell you that, for our industry, typically there's two markets that are the most important ones, which are spring and then fall. Okay, and so literally we just had Magic about a week ago in Las Vegas, and so that was a very good market for us for this upcoming spring.
Oh, cool. And what, if you could tell entrepreneurs anything right now, or maybe even some of the people that we have had on Topic Tuesday that are in their second or third year in business, what would you tell them?
So it's hard. It is really, really hard. I don't know of anyone, I haven't met anyone that's basically said that it's come easy. It's a lot of work, so get ready to put in the hours. There's nothing sexy about owning your own business. I mean, it's great, it's very fulfilling, but it's a very, very laborious, it's a labor of love. And so my recommendation, because I will tell you that one of the biggest things, and I think why a lot of businesses fail, is because of cash flow. I mean, as sad as it sounds and as boring as that sounds, if you go out into the business world and you open up a business but you don't have the cash flow to support yourself for 2 to 3 years before really allowing the business to grow and to maintain itself, you'll go out of business. That's one of the reasons that there is such a high statistic of businesses that fail within the first 3 to 5 years. It's because people just don't do their finances.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's true. I think on one of the blogs that we're going to come out with, I share that prior to this, I was doing everything monthly, and then I opened the business, and then I switched to quarterly. Mm-hmm. And to me, it can be okay to do everything quarterly, but for me, I like to see the numbers. I'm a numbers person, so I like to see everything in monthly so I can know exactly where in the growth needs to be. Mm-hmm. And if you are a numbers person and you like to see your numbers growing and you like to see, hey, that's not working, gotta go, I think for me that's worked.
Absolutely. And it's not to discourage anyone from it. It's just that being realistic is just run your numbers and know that you're going to be putting in the hard work for at least 3 to 5 years, because that really, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
And so I think just making sure that you can hang in there. Now we were talking a little bit before we started about social media.
Oh yeah.
The rules of the game have changed, and social media is really where you have to be. So your customers want it, they expect it, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit more. Social media has changed. We were talking about how prior to that you could talk and it was kind of like word of mouth. Mm-hmm. You can do things, but now you really post something and somebody comes in, and we're saying when you do see something, come in and kind of check the store out, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when we first started, again, like 6 years ago, we, you started seeing a little bit of the social media. Instagram barely started,
Right,
and
I remember.
And so, you would post something, but it wasn't that critical for you to post something. Now, because of the way everybody has, smartphones, Instagrams, Facebooks, you have to post on a daily basis. You have have to produce content, whether it's videos, live videos, pictures. You literally have to be there all the time. So I was telling Samantha about my experience recently, which is, we have customers that literally just come in and they're like, you posted this picture on Instagram and I want this top, and they just come in, buy it, and leave. And basically that's what they do. We have some people that do that, not everyone, but that's different from the way it was about 6 years ago. So if you're new in business and you're wanting to do something like this, do what Samantha's doing, do a little bit of what we're doing. We're trying to communicate and keep very, very close to our customers through social media.
Yeah, I think, and communicating with the clients too. I think with people who see me on social media and they come in here and they're like, "Hi Samantha, how are you?" And I always say, "Oh, hi, like I know you look great on Instagram." And I try to make that connection because we are watching you as much as you're watching us. And I kind of say, like, sit down, get a drink of water, whatever you guys want to do at that time and what you're looking for, because we have product and we have services. But yeah, just really taking that time to engage, because nowadays with social media, it's getting worse. People are not even liking the photo. They're just going through it and scrolling. Yeah, so definitely take the time. If you're a new entrepreneur and you're a new stylist and you're a new boutique, you want to make sure that you are engaging with
your customers.
Yeah. And I think that's what sets us apart, because I had asked you to come on Topic Tuesday probably maybe even since last year, right? And putting her in the schedule, I looked at your work, and you're on Topic Tuesday because you're a strong woman, and I could see your videos and you're communicating with your clients. And to me, somebody who's been in the business for 6 years, I have something to learn. And I still want to grow, and I want to be in this business for the next 10 years.
There you go.
So I want to learn from people who've been in business way longer than I have.
Right. No, absolutely. And I want to learn from people like you also, that you've been doing this and you're succeeding with your social media, and so everyone, like for example, I know I'm definitely much older than you are, but us older folk don't. And I'm not that old, but I am older, and so
yeah, there definitely is a first for everything. Even for me too. I was telling a class I was teaching yesterday that if you would have asked me 6 years ago if I would be teaching a class, I would have probably said no, because I was quiet, I was shy, and I definitely was not as outgoing as I am today. But it's just a little bit of practice, and you keep on going.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
What mantra right now are you living on? What quote are you living by?
You know what? Finding balance. Really, really. I've been doing this so much with my existing job, with the business and all that, and you have to find time for yourself. Now, here's the thing, very important for any business owner, because when you start a new business, you jump in, and a lot of you will go in there and it's all about work. It's all about being hustling and doing all that, which is great, and that's why I say you're going to have to put in the hard work, but you have to find time for yourself. You have to find time for your personal care, whether it's working out, which is very important to me, so working out, eating well, going with friends, whatever. Honestly, balance is key, and when you find yourself in a situation where you're overworked, go back and just take some time and just take care of yourself. And that's basically it. Yeah. And so that's what I'm living by right now, because I have so much going on that at times I just have to say, you know what, I got to step back and just do me.
It's true. Balance is something that I think I'm going to take some lessons on, because all I do is eat about is work. But again, it's my first couple of years, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So what is going on right now at your shop?
So what's going on right now? We are obviously in full February mode. We've got a few things happening. I am collaborating with. I was talking about health and fitness. So February is American Heart Month. And so we are basically teaming up with Fitness First, which is a local gym. And what we're basically doing is trying to get people fit and healthy. So there's two things. So if you want to go and seek out a trainer. You can go with Fitness First, and they'll give you 3 free training sessions, to try to get you motivated and moving. And then for Botticelli, on our side, what we're doing is from here till the end of February, we're basically offering a 20% discount if you mention that you heard me say this, whether it's this video or my video.
wow.
And so you'll get 20% off your next purchase. And so out of those sales, I'm going to be giving 10% to the American Heart Association at the end of the month. So that's basically what we've got going on right now. We've got a bunch of really cute things that have just come in for spring. So, come on down and check us out.
Awesome. And thanks for joining us. Bye, guys.